Hey y'all. I just wanted to create a little video today, share some of the things that I've been activating in the field, and hopefully that can support you and what you're moving through, what you've been picking up on in the collective field, in your own field, what you've been moving through. You know, I've had, it took me a long time to start this channel. Not because I didn't have like the content. It's because it's a fucking cesspool on the internet, you know what I mean? And so in no way, shape, or form am I here for anything but to help the collective evolution, you know what I mean? And even, you know, sharing things, like even sharing my soul experiences is something I've only done a few of those, and I'm always like, I don't know, I always am a little bit hesitant to share those things because they're deeply intense and powerful and really big work, and I want to share them with the collective, and simultaneously I don't, because it's sacred and it's not for the cesspool. And also, when you're in an unhealed place, you confuse soul sovereignty with ego, right? So when I share things that my soul is doing and activating, unhealed people are going to take that from me coming from a place of ego. And that's not at all the case. I was trying to get a little bit better lighting, but we'll see. And that's how deep it is. I'm not gonna apologize to you about construction outside. You know what I mean? Like, I can't control that. You know, but so many people are like, you know, it's just this idea that we've got to be like, there's nothing about what I'm doing is perfect with you. I'm just sharing truth from an authentic space. It's not about being perfect. It's not about, like, for any of us, right? We're just doing, like, we're doing, I don't even want to say we're doing the best we can, because I don't think most people are doing the best that they can. Like, I think a lot of us are doing the best that we can. A lot of us are not. A lot of us are choosing to not do the best that we can at. You know what I mean? Anyways, I don't know. I don't want to get lost in that. The energy's a lot today. It's been a lot the past 2 days. So I want to share with you the activation that's happened. That the work that I've been doing here has been activating sacred land. I've talked a little bit about that in some of the videos. The land I'm in is like an ancient sacred point. And so, and before I came out here, I really felt it. Me and my friend were talking about how the land is dead. We're like, not only did we all die, we all were like, I'm dying. Literally, I died, you know, like literally I died many times, right? But the land also died. And we've needed to reactivate Gaia as well, because she died. She bled out, she died. Right? So, you know, I've just been doing really deep work around that sacred activation. And when I was up at the waterfall, that maybe I shared a little bit about that. And I just cried. I just cried and cried and cried by this waterfall, because the land is so sacred, okay? This land is so sacred. And people are just walking around in complete disrespect, dishonor. And when I use those words, right, because we don't even know what the fuck that means, right? So we're not recognizing her, right? So that's the word I want to use. We're not recognizing her and our relationship with her, right? And we haven't, right? We've completely trashed her. And that's why there's so much chaos, right? Is that we have not honored or recognized the land as a living, breathing organism that's part of us. She's our ecosystem, right? So, and like if you have a fish in a fish bowl and you're not taking care of the ecosystem dies and then the fish dies, right? So, yeah, right? So that's what we've been doing. So here I am. I'm crying at this waterfall and I just see my tears fall into the grass. And I see this, and then I see this ripple, this wave of water. And it's been nonstop downpouring. Every time I've gone to a sacred location, downpour. Since I arrived, downpour. Because the earth is cleansing. She is cleansing, and I'm activating here with her that cleansing process, that cleansing journey. So the energy is a lot to talk through. So I hope that you can find patience in your own heart today. And it's hard to activate through because there's the overall feeling, and right before it rains, it's like suffocation. I feel like I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. I literally feel like I'm being choked out. It's like so suffocating. It's like deep. It's like my inside, I'm sweating on the inside. You know what I mean? It's like heat, and just this deep pain of just what's been suffocated. So I saw this ripple in this activation of water, and it's just been nonstop downpour through these activations, and it's not even necessarily like rainy season yet. It's not a coincidence. That's so weird. No, it's so funny, right? So I think it was 2 days ago, I was called to like a specific location, and the energy was really, really tough. And I was having a little bit of a spiritual temper tantrum, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, why am I here? I just want, like, I don't even want to be here. Like, so, like, why am I at this point? What is even going on? But the land, there was important land there. There was really important land there that I needed to be present with at that for the day. And that night, I think this was 2 days ago. As I was sleeping, this massive portal opened up in the sky coming down, and I was seeing all these sacred land points. It was like, let me think about how to like really describe this. So it was like I was seeing it in a different dimension, and I was like activating that land interdimensionally, and then this portal opened, and I was seeing these land points, and it was like activating the land in a higher dimensional space, than to ground that energy here into the land in the physical. And so, God, the energy that came through was so beautiful. It was so like just light, right? Just lightweight. It's so dense here, y'all. I don't know how many of you feel the energy of this earth like that, but it's so hard for me to be on this planet. It's so dense here. It's hard for me to function in this realm, which is why I'm always like, okay, y'all, can you get with the activations, because like it's
really hard to be here. I'm not here for funsies, right? I'm not here to just live like whatever these YOLO, whatever this weird ass shit people are throwing around. Like, oh, we're just here. We're just like, we're just bodies floating around. No, the fuck, we're not, bro. Like, everything is cosmic consciousness, right? Like, you have a purpose here. And if you don't know what the fuck that is, you need to figure it the fuck out. Okay? Real talk with you right now because, like, you're not just here like floating around or whatever. Like, you're here for a reason and you can choose to participate in the conscious evolution or you can just be taking up space. Real talk with you. So, anyways, for those of us who have chosen to come to this planet to support the conscious evolution for all of time, we're exhausted, okay? And we could really use the support of the collective to step into purpose at this time. We need you. It's necessary. I don't know how many videos I'm like, listen, we need you because we need everybody, right? We need everybody to participate. We don't need everybody to participate. You know what I mean? The more people that participate in this evolution is what's going to help the collective, right? It's going to what's going to help. It's a frequency, and if you're in a place of you're like, well, what do I do? It's not, you know, even like my story I just told you. I'm like, what am I doing here? It's not about a doing, right? It's like you have an intention, a spirit, like a frequency that you are activating in the consciousness in the collective. So, you know, and when you align with that, your purpose is something that aligns with you. Your purpose isn't something that isn't going to align with you, like, right? Because your soul chose a purpose that is you. You are your soul, right? It's like it's not something that's separate from you. It's not this even a grandiose thing that you needed to do. You know what I did that day? I was chilling at a fucking restaurant, right? So it's not this whole, it doesn't have to be anything other than you being in alignment with your own soul's frequency. That's that's it, right? And so anyway, I want to go back to this collective activation, right? You know, and I just, before I go into that, I just want to say this, because like even before coming out here, I was like, you know, our soul's always sending us like the amount of messages that I had to be where I'm at was like, you know, like, hello, yeah, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is where you're supposed to be, you know, and until but I had to be prepared, right? I had to be prepared for this mission. Like I couldn't just go without coming to a certain place within myself to even begin this leg of my mission and journey, right? So anyways, going back, this portal opens and I'm seeing all of this actually ground into the physical, right? So all night was like this beautiful, beautiful vortex energy coming down into the earth. And then the 2 days after that, yesterday and today, have been like so heavy again. Very, very heavy. My back feels like, I feel like my back is being crushed. And then maybe many of you are also experiencing this, because this has come through many times, that like my spine feels like it's being crushed. And that's part of the release and integration, right? Because we're activating new energy, we're activating our higher DNA consciousness, and so we're clearing these things out. And again, I am not a medical professional. If you need medical help, please seek it. However, if you're feeling in your body these really like messed up things right now, and it comes out of nowhere, you're like, oh my God, suddenly I feel like I'm being crushed alive. Like, that's definitely like this energy moving through us in so many ways. Like for me to illness, right? Because illness is a frequency. And as I'm moving through these different places it's like the illness becomes a vortex of energy moving through me. And that was, I wish I had this card to show you. It's in one of my reads, but it's her standing in a tree, and it's just energy spiraling around her, and it says release the hold of darkness. And it's like allowing that energy to integrate, right? And so in the past, many of us who have worked with our energy field have been like, okay, because we didn't have this new energy coming in, right? Earth has been under this suppressive, oppressive field, right? And that's been broken. That's why this energy, I'm telling you, this energy has come through, because this old grid has collapsed, right? And so under the old grid, we were constantly having to shield and protect our energy and block out frequencies, right? And what we're stepping into now, which is many of us are like, I don't even know how to protect my field anymore. I don't even know how to block these energies anymore. I don't, but we're not supposed to, right? Because here's the thing is that if you remove yourself from the physical identity for a second, we're all just energy. We're all just frequency. So if you've got this higher light wave frequency coming through your being, wherever you've got energy stuck in your body, it's going to hold there. So if you think about like a ball moving through like a spiral, and within the within the mechanism that it's spiraling through, the tunnel, there's clogging, right? There's like clogging in the tunnel. Then it gets stuck. It can't keep spiraling down. So that's what's happening in our being now, is like, if energy is getting stuck somewhere, it's like, you're like, how do I block this? You're like, no, you are blocking. you gotta, like, whatever is being stuck there is being called to recognize and be released. And it's really painful right now. It's no joke. Like, being on Earth right now is not a good time, for sure. But we're here for sacred purpose, right? And so when it gets to these stagnant points, it's not for us to try to remove or block or do certain things to remove this energy. What we're being called to, yeah, like, I feel this so deep. The chest, the heart, right? There's really deep heart opening. And that's been happening, right? All of our channels are being activated. And so wherever these frequencies are getting stuck in your being, that's where it's being called to be recognized, released, so that you can be a clear channel, right? That's what I'm trying to express. It's like, you're becoming a clear channel. We are a conduit of divine energy, and then we ground that energy here into Gaia, right? So, and if you think about the process of, again, we're an ecosystem. So if you think about the process of that, I don't know why I can't think of the word right now. Oh my God, I swear. It's intense today. But when the rain comes through the tree and goes into the earth, and then it recycles up, like, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know the word right now. It's okay. You're this part of this ecosystem, right? And so when we flush the energy, we're bringing the energy through us, we're releasing it into the earth, Gaia's processing it, and then being released back up into the atmosphere, right? So it's a whole energetic, cohesive ecosystem, as well as physical, right? Because this is actually happening physically, and this is where we've been gunked up, is because we're processing so much junk into Gaia, because we're intaking and digesting and receiving so much junk, and then outputting so much junk, right? So there's so much clogging, right, in the field, and we've just been recycling the same dumbass bullshit through our system into Gaia, and right, into each other, right? And like, we are well aware that plants are all connected through the mycelium network. We are too, right? We're all consciously connecting, receiving information, right? So it's all happening. All of this is happening physically, energetically, collectively. So what's really beautiful is that this portal activation, right, was higher dimensional energy. And I receive that all the time on a personal level, but this was like a massive collective portal opening. It was a massive, massive portal over this whole place. And where I'm at is a very, very sacred, specific point. There's only 2 points on the globe that share this frequency, this cross point of frequency that are being activated. And so this portal opening is huge. It's so huge because it's reawakening really, really powerful, powerful ancient energy, cosmic energy, and it's opening us a channel directly to source and reconnecting our ecosystem back up to source rather than us recycling the same dumbass shit that people had just been throwing around for however long, right? So, and prior to this, like when I got up here and like the beings that were, it was really, really powerful. Massive, massive beings. I'm like calling in support. I was like, listen, I need you to help me activate this channel because it's a big one. And I'm seeing just like, it's funny because I'm thinking I want to like, I'm thinking I'm like doing this alone. You know what I mean? I'm like, listen, I need help. And when I connected into the energy, okay, that was helping me activate this space, oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Wow. That's all I can say. Really, really powerful ancient energy here. That's like, and not only, and these were not, and again, this was not, you know, I've been talking a lot about the fire energy. This was not like love and light and peace. Hey, we're here with you with love and light. Like, by the way, that's all a fucking, listen, we're not going to get into that in this right now. We may later, but like, this was like this was like sacred destruction, sacred destruction, like deep sacred destruction energy, ripping up the false identity, ripping up the false matrix, ripping up the lies, just smashing, just, that's what it was, like smashing everything, like clearing path. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, thank you, like thank you, cool, now we can open this portal, awesome. Like so it's been really powerful. The storms that have been coming through, like, oh my gosh, there's been crazy storms everywhere. Like, yes, there has. Yes, there has. So, anyways, that's what I want to say. This was really, really powerful because it was crushing the old and clearing space for this portal to even activate. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's always hard for my being to come back to this space, honestly, because it's like, it's so heavy here, but it's like, it still needs time to integrate, you know, but this, like I said, this was a massive, opening. And so, it's really just continuing to allow these old energies to be released. And that's what I keep seeing is like, just allowing the new, like, it's open, and allow it to move through and release whatever is being held in the body. And when I was on the phone with a friend, I said, I was telling her the frequency I kept picking up on. And as soon as I told her, I felt this massive, it felt like I got stabbed in the back, behind my heart space. I literally couldn't move for an entire day. Yesterday, I literally couldn't move from this energy. And I was like, dear God, like, and I'm just trying to like move that frequency out of my system. And I was trying to not only move it out of my being, recognize whatever it was, and also for the collective. I was like, I don't even, yesterday I was like, I don't even know how to support people on this because like, what the hell, right? And today I was getting a little more clarity, around this that I did want to share. And part of the physical activation that I'm doing, it's energetic, but it's like the physical as well. The way that this is activating the physical, that's what I want to say, is and what I've always been activating, but really in a deeper place now, of the feminine freedom codes. Okay. And again, I want to speak on this, like, the feminine is an energy. Okay. Women, feminine energy is an embodiment, right? So what we're talking about is feminine suppression on the planet that's happened throughout time. And that's the imbalance, right? And this is why I talk so much about the rebalancing, okay? Because it's not about the feminine out, like, oh, like, this is the distortion. This is the distortion right here with humanity, okay? And this is the consciousness they sold to us to keep us enslaved in our own consciousness, right? We're the ones confining ourselves. This is perpetuated throughout time. When we're like, oh my gosh, like, literally, humanity has been doing this for so long, and we use two big things. Well, three. Okay, I'm going to talk about three big things, okay? And then I'm going to share about what I'm saying about the feminine, right? Okay? We use gender, we use race, and we use class, okay? These are, and now we're in a world where we use fucking anything, right? We use anything to pin someone else against the wall. That's the lie, right? That's the lie. If we can make a type of person lesser, then we can participate in a duality dynamic where someone is an oppressor and someone is the one being oppressed, right? So whether we use that in feminine and masculine, whether we use that in race, or whether we use that in class, right? We have more. We're of more whatever, right? A higher level of whatever. So I'm saying class, but it's really like authority. Like, we use the idea of authority, superiority, right? This is all part of that complex, right? Because there is no authority in spirit other than your own soul sovereignty and divine authority. And as far as race and gender go, we're all been many races and genders, my friends, and beings, and you know what I mean? So like this like delusion of like, oh, only these people have been oppressed, and these people are the oppressor, right? And it's gotten so absurd right now with that. Like right now, it is ridiculous how humanity has like, people are playing that story out to the crash, right? That's part of the lie. And I can't even, I've said like a couple things on my channel, and it's literally turned into a cesspool, not on YouTube, but on like TikTok. So like, I don't even talk about this because people aren't even fucking ready to hear the truth, and that's like, that's the fear in my soul, because I get burned at the stake every time I speak the truth, because humanity doesn't want to fucking hear it. But guess what? It's time. We're sick of the bullshit. So hear the truth or fucking crash with idiocy. It's literally your choice. So it's all part of the human consciousness, the conditioning of the human consciousness to literally enslave each other, right? They don't have to run our system. All they did was create a system and we continue to run it, right? We continue to tell the same lies. We continue to repeat the same stories. And they just feed us a little bit of bullshit for people to ride on. And here's the thing, right? Is like, and this, okay, so going back with this concept, going back to what I was saying about the feminine, right? And this is why the feminist movement gets crushed every time. Because, and same thing with race, same exact thing, right? Because it comes to a place where, you know, okay, yeah, like feminine's rising, and then it's like, cool, crush men, right? And this is why I keep speaking on like, yo, like we gotta support men, we gotta support the masculine, right? We're not here to suppress the masculine and tell the masculine like, oh, be quiet, right? Like that's exactly the energy we don't want, you know? And people going around, oh, white people this, white people that, and it's like, bro, you're missing the point, right? There's been oppression throughout all of time. It's the same fucking story, right? So just different roles, different contexts, it's the same stage. We're choosing to play. We're choosing to participate in this play, right? So either we remove ourselves from the same fucking lie or we keep telling the same story, right? So this is why the feminine rising means not only honoring the feminine, it means honoring the masculine, right? Both are important. And the storyline is this. If we can, it's the crabs in the bucket, right? If we can make someone else feel small, then we can feel tall, right? That's what we keep doing, right? That's why we continue to minimize each other, is because that's the only way we're taught to come into power, is to minimize another type of person. That's not power, that's not truth, and that is not the way to release from oppression. And that's why every time it crashes. That's why no one gives a fuck anymore, right? That's why no one gives a fuck anymore about people's causes, because it's not coming from a place of truth. It's not coming from a place of recognition and honoring each other, like I was talking about with Gaia. It's not coming from a place of evolution. It's not coming from a place of let's evolve the consciousness collectively together and do something differently. It's coming from a place of how do I bash this person down so that I can feel big? Like, enough, okay? And it's like, you know, this is the thing, right? Like, throughout time, right? Like the man-hating energy, right? It's so weak. It's not helping us. It's not helping us create balance. It's not helping men respect women, right? Like now men just feel like whatever I do is like wrong, you know? And same thing with white people, right? I don't know what to do because that's all wrong. Either way, I'm a white supremacist no matter what I do, right? Like, how is that helping us get there, right? So like, we gotta think differently. We gotta look at things differently, right? This is the only way that we're actually gonna recognize each other's situation. This is why I talk about is like, all it takes is having a conversation with an individual person, and you can recognize that we're all moving through, we're all trying to figure it out. You know, we're all just trying to figure out how to get there. And as soon as we stop fighting each other, then we can actually see the systems that have been keeping us oppressed rather than trying to pin it on our neighbor, right? So yeah, it's a really aggressive topic because people have gone like buck fucking wild about it. Same thing with like the like politically correct, whatever. Like that shit is the worst, bro. Like that shit is the absolute fucking worst fucking joke of all time. And like, no, I'm not gonna erase women. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say some elusive shit around women after how much time women have been, you know, how long the feminine has been trying to be recognized. I don't know. I was somewhere and I said, what I said something about a couple guys in my life, and I said these men, and like people looked at me like, oh, did she say men? Yes, they all identify as men. So yes, I'm gonna call them men. Okay? Yes, I identify as a woman, and I'm gonna speak on women. I'm not gonna be like, what about this gender and this gender, and what about everybody just step back into this like elusive reality where nothing is real. If you don't want to identify with a gender, then cool, don't, right? But like, this is the thing that I talk about, of like, it's not about trying to eliminate other people or say that people aren't real. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. But I'm not going to act like women aren't the ones who have given birth to humanity for all of time. I'm not going to like sit here and pretend that's not fucking real, right? So enough with the bullshit, bro. Enough with the bullshit. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not, and everybody is in fear. Everyone is in fear around saying the wrong fucking thing, right? Everyone is in fear that like if I say something that, whatever, it's like, then like I'm gonna be attacked for existing, right? Like, and this, and like, this isn't even why, this is like all these fucking, like I said, these justice warriors, and they don't even know what the fuck they're fighting for. Like, you're just like, it's like mob mentality, just like fucking attacking people for just fucking existing. Enough. Like, enough. Like, let people be. I don't give a fuck who you want to be. You be you. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Be whatever you want to be. I'm going to speak on what I want to speak on because that's what the fuck I'm doing. Don't come in and like fucking try to correct me for saying what I want to say, right? Like, why are we treating people like that? Like, why? This is what I was saying in the other video. Like, we're not even treating people like they're real anymore. Right? Everyone's a prop. Everyone is just something to like just unload your fucking shit on. Enough. It's not justice, okay? All right, that's enough on that. Let's get that shit the fuck up out of the field. What I wanted to say was this about the suppression of the feminine energy, okay? Here's what I wanted to say. The phone call I had with my friend, and what I had shared with her that brought in the deep pain in my heart was this, or in my back, like being stabbed in the back. I said, I had seen this vision, because I was like, God, these, dudes can get very obsessive of my energy. And it's because I'm free as a feminine in my being, okay? And what I shared with her, what I saw was like a little boy with the glass jar trying to catch the firefly, right? I'm like this firefly in the night, and he's like, oh! And so he wants to capture the light. He wants to take his glass jar and be like, oh my God, this light, let me put you on my shelf so I can just have you here and keep you on my shelf, right? So this is the energy. And I'm saying this because this is the energy we're breaking free of, right? And this message has come through so loudly where I'm at in the planet, specifically everywhere, right? But like specifically where I'm at, this has come through so clearly, is that the masculine, the distorted masculine, okay, not the masculine, the distorted masculine that's been on this planet. And again, this is an energy. This is an energy, my friends. So think of it this way. It's an energy that you're either embodied in, or you're releasing, or that's been embodied on this planet, the way the masculine is played out in distortion, okay? is that they like the feminine from a place that she could be contained and boxed and placed on a shelf. This is why there's so much oppression around women of like, and shame around dress and behavior, right? Because, and this is what I shared about freeing the archetypes of women, right? Because the distorted masculine and the patriarch wants women to be confined into a space that he can control her, right? Because in this example I give you, the firefly is the free feminine. She's this light just floating in the night. She's free. She's free to exist. And the divine masculine sees this beauty and says, wow, this is beautiful. Look at how beautiful, right? This is right, the same, like, understand that I'm talking about a frequency, right? It's the same thing I was talking about with our relationship with Gaia. We're using her as a prop. Oh, cool waterfall. Okay, bye. Rather than honoring the sacred water she's sharing. Oh my God, look at this beautiful location. Look at how beautiful this water is. Look, oh my God, this water feels amazing. I like connecting with her, being with her, recognizing her, not like, oh, let me bottle her up. Oh, how do I like get the photo, fill her with water, take her, put her on my shelf? No, that's the distorted masculine that's perpetuated, right? So that was the big thing that I was feeling in my heart, and the suppression of the feminine, and why the feminine has been pressed into all over the globe. She has to cover her body, right? The veil is our metaphor for consciousness. Women being veiled, right? Because we have veiled and covered the true identity of the feminine. We have suppressed her and compromised her so that she can be contained in a little vessel that is digestible to the distorted masculine for him to control, right? So when the feminine is free and beautiful and in her free existence, she's swimming naked in a waterfall. That's her free identity. But then the masculine can't control that, right? So that's where he says, no, like it's too free, it's too beautiful, we have to contain it, we have to control it, and we have to put it on a shelf, right? Or we have to own it, we have to take ownership, right? That's like the control dynamic. It's for me, I want to put it on my shelf, it's for me, it's not for anybody else, right? That's the way we treat the feminine. Yet the masculine is, like I said, of the archetypes when I was talking about this, the masculine is allowed to be whatever kind of identity he wants to be. The feminine is not allowed to be that. And we have so much shame and control around, if a feminine chooses an identity, a feminine identity, then she's confined to that identity, and then we, confine her there. This is where she sits on the shelf, right? In whatever form that is. If it's wife, if it's, whatever, right? Whatever. We want to, like, it's like, it's because it's so deep and it's really hard to talk through, for sure. If she's in her whatever form, then we're like, oh, then she is this, right? And this is the same thing that I talk about with what I was just saying about us confining our own selves, because women do this to women, right? That's why I made this whole video about women policing women, because they've created a system for women to be oppressed, and then women continue to oppress each other. We continue to shame other women for existing in the form that they're in, right? And and I talk a lot about like the masculine creating like a safe space for women, or a space for the feminine, right? And like that's the energy we see as a collective here, is like the masculine is so unsafe for the feminine to exist, right? The feminine can't even be free around the masculine. And it's so funny. I want to share this because this was like one of the funniest things that I had ever seen. In a location. So, right, I had gone up to this waterfall. This wasn't here. This was like a little while back, but I had gone up to this waterfall, And there was like a bunch of young dudes, like just like hanging out in the water and stuff, right? And I was there, and I don't know, there was no other women. It was just these guys hanging out in the water, and I was feeling their energy, and I was like, I'm gonna be over here in my little spot, okay? And then these three other women came up. They had hiked up, and then they were like hanging out in another little area, right? And these dudes were like, it was funny because this kid, he's like, I'm hungry. He wasn't talking about food, right? He was talking about women, right? So, but we were all of us women that were there were like covered, contained, in our own space, unsafe to be free in nature. I really want you to sit with this, especially if you're a masculine watching this. I want you to like fucking hear this right now, okay? We were all unsafe, and not physically unsafe, right? I'm saying energetically, we were unsafe to embody our feminine presence, right? Because the masculine energy there present was so like exactly what I'm talking about, like take and entitled to. You are not entitled to the feminine energy. You understand? You are not entitled to her energy. This is what I say about catching the firefly. We're not here for you. This is the masculine distortion. We are here with you. We are not here for you. Understand that, please. That is the evolution. Please understand that we are not here for you. Okay? So they were just craving. It's like this is what I'm saying, this like clingy, grabbing, contain. Like as soon as like a woman would get in her swimsuit, it's like the energy is like, ah, right? So we're like, oh God, no, why? Like, I just want to be naked in the water. Like, no, right? So I'm picking up on this energy, and I'm sort of just like seeing all this in real time, seeing this exchange in real time. And these dudes so desperate to try to to see the feminine, to contain the feminine. And as soon as these kids leave, right? As soon as they leave the water, the energy shifted like that. Like that. As soon as they left, me and all three of these women were like, oh, woo! Naked, free in the water. Like our energy was free and open and like laughing and playing in the water, right? Because the feminine wants to be free too, right? Do you think the feminine wants to be this like contained, pristine, like uptight, like stuck in a little like thing for the masculine to like let her out and be free? Fuck no, she does not. Okay? So that was the vibe. As soon as they walked away, as soon as they left, all these women are naked and free and being in the water, right? And again, it's an energy, right? So it's not just like maybe you're hearing that and you're like, well, of course the men left, so then they're like fine, they can be, but like you're missing it. You're missing it if that's what you're thinking, right? Because it's about the energy of women feeling unsafe just to exist in their form without the masculine trying to control, contain, or take from them. Feast, I'm hungry, feast on women, right? That is a distortion of masculine energy, right? Okay? The divine masculine energy doesn't need to take from women. He holds space for her. He's not trying to trap her. He's not trying to create all these traps to contain her, right? He knows how to hold space for her. This is why I talk about too, like the idea of like submission, right? and men wanting women to be like submissive, or men wanting women to be like, if you are wanting that from women, and women are guarded around you, and women are blocking you, and women won't be free or anything around you, my friend, that's you. That's your energy. You are not safe for women to be around. You are not safe for the feminine to be around. You make the feminine uncomfortable. And it's a frequency. It's not you, it's a frequency. When you shift that frequency, you recognize how you're engaging with the feminine, then you can actually learn how to be a safe person, a safe energy for women. And then they don't feel like they have to like cover and contain and guard, right? We're guarding ourselves because you don't make us feel safe, right? So this is what's happening, right? Is that for all of time, the masculine has been trying to contain the feminine. And so now the feminine is stepping into freedom. And the masculine role in that is to hold space for that transformation, to recognize and honor her, not to try to contain her, right? And so, like, again, this is happening with men and women, but it's also happening internally. It's also happening with whatever gender or whatever, right? It's a frequency. So it actually doesn't even have anything to do with gender specifically, right? Because as women, we also can embody this masculine oppressive energy, right? And it's happening collectively on the planet. It's happening with Gaia, right? So this is what I'm saying about all of this having to do with the balancing of these energies, is because we're stepping into a place of alignment where we can actually hold space for the feminine to be free and for the masculine to create safe space for that, right? So if we are embodied in these roles, right? Like for me, speak on me, as like me embodied in my feminine energy. Obviously I have been on a long journey of balancing masculine and feminine energy. I see myself as both, right? That's my thing, is it's all of our things, right? But like, that's why I talk about this, because I've been in a long journey of embodying and balancing my feminine and masculine energy. But I exist as a feminine embodiment on this planet because that's my role in supporting the feminine freedom and evolution, right? And the truth is, I have way more masculine energy than many men, right? So, and it really, I'm telling you, I know this message is heated, but it needs to be said and it needs to be heard. When I was younger, because, I grew up with 3 brothers. When I was younger, I was trying to be a guy. I was like, fuck dresses. I was like, fuck the feminine, because like, I was like, I don't even fuck with the feminine, because she was distorted. And I didn't know what true feminine energy was, right? I was so hung up on like, I want to be a dude because this was the true story, right? Not the true story, but this was like the story for me. It was true to me at the time, right? Was that I want to be a masculine because I don't want to be considered less than equal. So really fucking think about how fucked up that is, right? I wanted to be a man. I wanted to dress and act like a man because I wanted to be valued. So this is why my entire journey and what I speak on has been coming into my feminine identity and being honored and valued and speaking on the importance of that, right? And this is why I've said in the past, that has nothing to do with being a value in the same way that we see men, right? We like, equal doesn't mean the same, right? Equal does not mean the same. So it's about recognizing that the feminine has equal value in a different identity, right? So just because I wasn't like functioning enough or whatever in my I don't know, y'all. The noise has been a lot to move through. I'm just gonna say that, and I lost the trail, but it's okay. It's fine. We'll let the trail get lost with the noise. We got the message, right? So, but I want to say this is I remember the first time so profoundly. I remember this moment of like being at like at a lake with my family and being young. And I remember when like me and my brothers were all playing and I was like wearing swimsuit bottoms or whatever. And my brothers were wearing their swimsuit. And this was the first time my mom, I like took my top off. You know what I mean? I was like little and I was like, yeah, like, I should be free, right? And this is when my mom told me, she told me I had to put my top back on because I was a woman, right? And I didn't understand. I didn't understand. Truly, I did not understand. I said, why do I have to put my top on? I don't even understand. Like, I could not comprehend why just because I was a woman, I had to cover my body. At what, like 5 years old? I was like, I don't get it. Like, why? They're not wearing shirts. Why do I have to put a shirt on? Right? So this is what I'm saying about going back to, right? Right? This is the lie of modesty, right? We've created this fucking a lie around modesty, right? And you go back to all, like, indigenous people are just like naked, basically naked, right? No shame. And then like people from like the civilized world, right? Civilized. Please, there's nothing civilized about it, right? People from this reality are like horrified by women just being fucking naked and just being out in the, because they're just being free in their reality, right? And so we've created this whole lie around covering up the feminine because of the distortion of the masculine, right? And this lie, right? Because it's to contain the feminine, right? This is not an inherent thing. This is not just like, oh yeah, like people literally believe like, oh yeah, it's natural because men can't control their sexual nature, so women have to cover their bodies. Like we think that's like an inherent thing. It's not. Like in no way, shape, or form is that natural, right? The body is natural. In of itself, in its naked form, is natural, right? We were born naked and unashamed, right? Go watch that video. We were born naked and unashamed. It is our human construct that has created these lies that say we have to cover the feminine. We have to hide her, right? And if she's uncovered, she's not sacred. And that's the fucking lie. She is sacred in her feminine, free form. She is sacred, naked, and water, just being free in a waterfall, right? She is sacred as that form. And is our disillusionment that puts all this shame around her. I cannot tell you the energy that I processed through my body at that waterfall. I was standing there shaking. My whole body was shaking so hard from the oppression and suppression that have been placed on this planet because of the feminine, like me standing there without waterfall, stepping into feminine freedom, and the projections and oppression of seeing me in that freedom. But it wasn't that moment, right? This was an energy I was alchemizing on the planet of being free in my feminine consciousness. And the oppression was like this of like the shame, the hate, the energy. It was like it broke my heart, alchemizing that energy. My whole body was like vibrating, just trying to stand there with this water. How much hate just for existing in free feminine form, right? Yeah. It was crazy. If I show you some of the pictures, like my body releasing, it was like on my face. The energy's on my face, like this face, because of the hate of others, right? That's what we're breaking here. The feminine is free, and she's whatever the fuck she wants to be, right? That's the truth that we are stepping into. And so, how do we hold space for this, right? One is, like I said, women, the feminine, needs to stop shaming the feminine, right? And here's what we're doing. Here's the cycle. Because you're shaming and judging. Because you're being held to some absurd ideology of beauty and feminine, right? Because we're being held up on this fucking shelf of what it means to be feminine, of what it means to be woman, right? We're being pinned up against a fucking wall to say this is what you're supposed to be, right? And so women are so that we're throwing that judgment. You're looking at another woman and you're like, shame, judgment, dun, 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 because of your own pinning against the wall. So number one, women have to stop pinning each other against the wall. And then number two, masculine, please recognize your role in this evolution, right? You have also got to stop pinning the feminine and defining her under these false archetypes. She's a mother or she's a whore, right? Be honest with yourself. Do you not, or do you not do that? She's either a mother or she's a whore. She's either young and beautiful, or are you old, or she's this, or she's that, right? When we go back, the elder feminine was like the sacred role. You know, she was often the seer, right? She was the seer. She was the one she was the matriarch, right? And we now have created a reality in which we dismiss the feminine once she's no longer youthful, beautiful and youthful. Then we've pinned her into this useless archetype. She's old and useless, right? That's what we've done. We no longer honor the sacred roles of the feminine, and we can no longer see her as all things, right? We can't even put sensual and mother into one archetype, right? Those are two different archetypes to us. And this is why we see this play out where men like are constantly seeking young, beautiful feminine. They're like, oh, she's just a mom now. She's just this now. That's a lie. That is an archetypal, feminine, oppressive lie. She can be all things. For those of you who say, no, she can't. Yes, feminine is all things. Stop pinning her to an identity. Please. Please stop pinning her to an identity. Right? Yeah. And this is part of it too. The feminine is fierce. She is not just soft and pretty and cute. She got boundaries, honey. She's fierce. She has boundaries. And she's fire. She's a creatrix. She destroys what is not meant to be, and she creates new life. She does both, right? So she is not this just like, you know, oh, she's like just floating in, I don't know, whatever, right? We have so many fucking weird identities of women that we try to put them into these little, you know, and even for a minute I believed it. For a minute I did, right? Because there's so much conditioning. For a minute I was like, oh, like, you know, maybe this is my like too aggressive masculine energy that I need to like not be so, I need to not be so intense or whatever. Like, no, that is my fierce, sacred, feminine soul who is so fucking tired of this storyline, right? She is over this storyline, right? So she is full of fucking fire. She is done being treated like she cannot embody whoever the fuck she decides to embody on this planet, right? And that's the whole outcry of identity, right? Is that we want to be free. So instead of like putting that energy into freeing ourselves, we're trying to pin people into identities or out of identities. Like this is what I brought up the shit around gender, because like it's like people are so hung up like, I don't want to be defined under a gender, but then you're like pinning everybody else for like being in their own identity, right? Like that's not the way, right? Same thing, like to be free and feminine doesn't mean pinning men against the wall and saying, you know what I mean? And that's why I talk about it being an energy. You can embody whatever masculine energy you choose to. If you want to continue like, you know, I have worked with men and like who often like you believe there's something wrong with you. You believe there's something wrong with you. And same thing, like you, again, you can reverse these roles, but like talking about right now, like working directly with men, and they think there's something wrong with them that they cannot attract the feminine. Like maybe they feel like they're repelling women, and they are. I have worked with a man, right? That the moment in meeting him, I wanted to run. The initial, like, I just want to run away. And in working with this man, over a few weeks, his energy became a safe place where I felt safe, I felt comfortable, we were able to deepen a connection, right? It's the same man. He just needed to shift his frequency. And that's why I was saying like this like energy of like seeing the feminine and wanting to, how do I get her? How do I contain her? How do I get her to see me, right? How do I get her to, right? Like hear what I'm saying. How do I get her to see me, to recognize me? How do I get her into my life? You're trying to contain her. The shift is embodiment in your own masculine presence. And then you release from that clinging energy, okay? And then you become a safe place for the feminine to open up. As soon as you shift out of that energy, then women just share with you. This is why you see certain men attract all the women or whatever. It's because they have a different frequency. And I'm not talking about, there's layers to that, right? There's men in deep distortion that attract a lot of women, and they're attracting women in deep distortion, right? They're attracting really unhealed women. You know, so I'm talking about the masculine that is just like, has a presence, right? I'm talking about the masculine just has this presence, and, you know, women are just like drawn to him, right? It's his energy. And you're telling some story, you're like, oh, it's because he's this, it's because he's this, it's because he's this. Oh, he just has a good job, or he's got this, or he's tall, or he's got hair, right? You're telling some fucking story about it. The truth is, it's his energy. His energy is safe for women to be around, right? That's the difference. If women are repelling you, it has nothing to do with how you look. Real talk with you right now, it has nothing to do with your appearance. It has nothing to do with your job. It has nothing to do with any of these things. It has to do with your frequency and how you're showing up towards women. Are you safe for women to feel free? For the feminine to feel open, free, to connect with you? Are you creating a place where she can share? When she's speaking, what are you thinking about? Are you sitting there thinking about, how do I get her to this or that? Or how is she seeing me? Or all these other things? Or are you present with her? And are you hearing her? And are you recognizing her? Are you hearing her words? Are you seeing her body language? How is she acting around you? Is she like this? Is she like this? Right? A feminine that's free and open isn't going to be like guarded, right? And if you start recognizing her presence in front of you, then you can actually recognize how, like, okay, how are you actually showing up with her, right? So when you get out of the mindset of like, and this is a thing, because this is where it gets scary. This is where men get really scary, because they start creating all these stories, and then they start creating a false perspective of the feminine, and then they start saying like, oh, women are this, women are that, and they start creating all these lies because they feel locked out from the feminine, and then they start to create this hate towards women that is like, oh, you know, they're just this and they're that and they're, you know, right? Like, this is why these storylines have continued, where if you are acting in a safe energy, 11111, when I said that, if you're not acting, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. You're not acting. What you're doing is acting, right? When you're embodied in a safe frequency, we feel that. You know, women are highly intuitive beings, okay? The feminine itself is the identity of intuition, right? So if you're thinking that, like I said, you're creating all these physical lies of like why a feminine isn't interested in you. Like maybe you're meeting a feminine somewhere and she's like super fidgety. She doesn't want to be around you. She's trying to get away from you. And you're like, oh, like, you know, this bitch just only like wants a dude who has money and is dressed like this or da 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 da. It's like, bro, you're creating that story. You're making that woman feel unsafe. And you're over here thinking she's a fucking bitch. So why the fuck would she want to spend a second of her time with you when that's the energy you're projecting onto her? Okay? The women, the feminine, feel that. And if you don't believe that, look at the data. Look at the data, because she's not fucking with you, right? If she's not fucking with you, you can keep telling whatever fucking lies, right? It's an energy. It is an energy. I cannot say that enough. So when you recognize how you're actually interacting with the feminine, if you're actually just sitting there projecting on her and you're not seeing her as a real person and you're just seeing her as this firefly that you can try to contain. How do I contain her and hold her and try to trap her so that she's with me or she stays with me or she sees me? All of those are deeply wounded, distorted masculine energies, right? The divine masculine can see the firefly, be like, wow, gorgeous, that is beautiful. And then guess what? The firefly comes back to him because he's not trying to contain or control or confine her, right? All right, y'all. This has been an hour, so I think I'm going to wrap it here with that. A lot was said in here. I know it was a little bit all over the place with this message, but it's all really important shifting that's necessary on a planet. And here's the thing, is like, I had talked about the karmic grid has collapsed. You know, there's a lot of people speaking on how like this old energy has collapsed. The new earth is literally here and it's online. The only thing is that we have to connect to it. We have to activate it. We're the ones. It's available to us, right? It is now available to us. This portal opening up was huge, huge. I'm telling you, like, I cannot express how large this energy came through. And we are the ones who have to engage with it. We are the ones that have to shift our energy. We are the ones who have to release ourselves from the system that we have confined ourselves to, right? That is the oppression. We are running the false matrix. Nobody's running it for us. We are. We are. So we've got to release ourselves from the false matrix. We've got to release ourselves from this conditioning. We've got to release ourselves from the oppression. And that happens through individual shifting. That happens through soul sovereignty. That happens through you connecting with your own truth and purpose and identity, and your alchemizing and spiritual, your own spiritual journey of connecting to truth and higher frequency in your own being, right? This is like, the shift is coming out of projection, right? People are just a mirror. We're coming out of projection and we're coming into a place of responsibility for our own souls, for our own energy, for our own frequency, and how we're contributing in the cosmic consciousness. We are all conscious or unconscious, right? We're all co-creators of this reality. That's what I was saying about the network, the conscious collective network. We are all like thinking about the mycelium network, right? Everything under Gaia is all woven roots connected. This is happening on an energetic level. We are all like trees. Like if we were all trees connected to Gaia and connected to source, right? We're all sending information back and forth, and we're like this electric field of information, right? That's consciousness. It's an electric field of information. So we're constantly sending and receiving information to each other. And what's been happening is like someone will send us hate. We take that hate, we send it to somebody else. And this is the communication of our field, right? So when I'm talking about this old system falling, we've got access to higher energy that's coming down. So we have to take that energy, we have to activate it in ourselves, and we have to create a new story. And this is the deep alchemy, is if someone's sending us hate, we're no longer gonna engage, right? That's the shift. If someone is sending some bullshit to me, I'm not gonna send hate back. I'm gonna alchemize that and send love, right? I'm gonna shift what that is. And when we no longer engage with those energies, right? Like, let's engage with a different frequency, and then we can pull that down into the field, and we can send love to each other. We can send healing. We can send energetic resourcing to each other, right? That's the shift. That's the shift. And that's why I talk about, like at the beginning of this video, I was talking about like, it's just connecting with your own frequency. It has nothing to do, like, you don't have to do anything grandiose. You don't have to do, like, there's nowhere to like get to. Like we always have this story, as if I just am here, then I can this, right? If I just have enough, then if I just this, then. No, it's right now. Open yourself up right now to a different frequency. Allow a different energy to come through your field. Allow something else to integrate, and allow yourself to share something different. That's it. That's it. And like I said, wherever you're getting stuck in your own being, like wherever energy, where's the judgment in your own heart, right? If you're getting stuck somewhere, if you're getting stuck in judgment, how have you been judged, right? How have others judged you? That's where you're being stuck, because you're stuck in judgment. Then that's the exchange, right? So when you look at, oh, well, you know, I was never allowed to just be free in my own being. I was never allowed. I was always told to cover up. I was always told that I didn't do this or that. I was always told I wasn't good enough. Whatever stories you're holding of judgment in your own self, it's like, recognize that. Hold space for that in yourself and call in a different energy. No, I'm not going to continue to be judged by myself or somebody else. I'm not going to carry that anymore in my body. I'm not going to transmit that. I am not a conduit of judgment anymore. I will not be a conduit of hate anymore, right? You can make that choice. And when you make that choice, then you can release it from your body, and you can call love in and say, no, I'm not going to perpetuate judgment on this planet. I'm not going to perpetuate shame on this planet. I'm not going to perpetuate hate anymore. I'm going to take that and I'm going to love. And then I can have compassion and say, you know what? This person is sending me hate because someone sent them hate. And now they're carrying that in their heart. So now I'm going to release it and I'm going to send them compassion and love. Because I want them to be free too. I don't want to carry judgment, and I don't want them to carry judgment. And I see how we have continued to share judgment and hate, right? Like, that's the awakening. That's the heart awakening, right? It's like recognizing that, releasing that. We don't have to carry it anymore. You can choose right now. You can choose right in this moment. You can choose to stop judging yourself and other people. And yeah, it's a journey, but it's that moment of recognition. Like, you know what? It's because I judge myself. I don't feel good enough in my body because I was told over and over and over again that my body isn't good enough. So today I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop judging my body. I'm going to tell myself I'm beautiful every day. I'm going to shift the energy that I'm pulling into my field. And you got to remember, it's an algorithm. So it's a process. For your entire life, you've been like, whatever story, I'm ugly. Like, if that's your story, oh, I'm ugly, right? That's the frequency you're moving through your field. So you're stopping the integration. You're saying, no, I'm beautiful. No, I'm beautiful, right? But then tomorrow, I'm ugly. You're going to stop and you're saying, no, I'm beautiful, right? And release that, right? So you got to recognize that you're shifting an entire algorithm within your own being. And that's the work, because that's the work that changes the planet. The internal work shifts the planet. Everybody's like, oh, there's nothing I can do because the planet is so chaotic. You don't need to do anything outside of yourself. All you need to do is shift your own being. Find love for yourself. That is the only way you're going to find love for the planet. That is the only way you're going to find love for your neighbor, for the collective, for those around us, for the world, for everything that's happening. When you shift into love within your own being, that's it. That's all it is. It's the internal transformation. That's the alchemy. That's the change. That's how we change the planet. You just have to change yourself. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's all it is. When we become love, we radiate love, we create love, we interact with love, we exchange love. Collectively, we become love, right? That's all it is. All right. Sending you all love. Thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you. I appreciate your conscious evolution on the planet right now. Again, we need you. We need you. So if you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, I greatly appreciate it as I continue to grow my channel and I can continue to support you on your journey. All right. Sending you love.